Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at some of the top trending stories online today.
A Louisiana woman will be among the thousands of fans who will see this weekend's Super Bowl in person. Stevie Kells, a clinical nurse supervisor, was gifted tickets to the big game. Kells provided care to people hurt in the New Year's Day terror attack on Bourbon Street. Ashley Furniture and NFL player Demario Davis teamed up to provide the tickets in appreciation of her very heroic efforts.
I love the smile there.
Yeah.
So the Grammys, music's biggest night, but this year's awards on Sunday night, not the biggest showing. Viewership was down almost 10% compared to last year, going from 17 million people to 15.4 million. This year's decline breaks a 3-year streak during which viewership steadily increased. Grammys producers said they didn't expect a ratings bump this year amid the devastation of the California wildfires. The Grammys actually delayed their marketing blitz leading up to that show. An hour more news headed your way here in the late afternoon on 12 News, including tariffs on Chinese goods that went into effect today, how China is responding and how it's going to affect you.
And if you've ever had to plan a family reunion or maybe a vacation for a large group of people, you know how chaotic all that planning can be. So up next, travel agent Megan Curdy. She's joining us with tips on how to ease the stress of group travel. We'll be right back.
She's ready.
I know.
Ready to
She's
go.
got great tips.
Okay.
Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back, everyone. Overnight tariffs on all goods from China took effect, and now China is pushing back with its own against the U.S.
Mark Curtis joins us from the newsroom now. A trade war with China, Mark. Could be some fallout here.
Troy, who will blink first in this? The tariffs proposed by China are set to take effect next week, and the back and forth between the world's two largest economies could ultimately put the American consumer right in the middle. The day after Mexico and Canada negotiated respective 30-day pauses on President Trump's proposed 25% tariffs on their goods coming into the U.S.
We've found a good, I think, accommodation here, and we're going to be showing progress over the next 30 days.
Trump's 10% tariff on all goods coming in from China took effect after midnight on Tuesday, but Beijing pushed back, placing tariffs on some energy and metal imports, the moves elevating tension between the world's two largest economies, and eventually the American consumer could get caught in the middle.
I think it's a lose-lose. It's just a question of how big the loss. It raises prices, raises inflation, and of course, we've been through a very wrenching period globally with high inflation. It's been a real problem.
Among the items that could see higher prices, consumer electronics like phones, TVs, and computers, toys, jewelry, silverware, and sporting goods, as well as shoes and sneakers. The real impact will be felt once businesses deplete their current stock and need to bring in more unless the U.S. and China can strike a deal. Democrats note the tariffs don't align with the economic relief that Trump had promised during his campaign.
Tariffs will undoubtedly drive up costs. You shared some of those numbers earlier, and people are living paycheck to paycheck. This is the opposite of what Trump ran on and what the American people want.
China also plans to place new restrictions on the export of dozens of products, including materials used to make things like solar cells. The president also has warned the European Union to also expect tariffs, causing more allies to prepare for tough negotiations. Troy?
Yeah, and we hope this doesn't lead to higher prices across the board for sure, Mark. We'll see what happens. Thank you. More national stories we're tracking for you. The Department of Education could soon be gone. According to two sources close to the matter, the Trump administration has started to draft an executive order that could eventually get rid of the DOE. President Trump's also expected to urge Congress to pass legislation that would close it down.
More than 1,000 Environmental Protection Agency employees have been told that they could be dismissed immediately. The Trump administration emailed the message to about 1,100 EPA employees last week. The email was meant for workers who have been with the agency less than a year and are likely in a probationary period. However, a representative for a government worker union says several employees with more than a year of service also received the email.
Officials near Washington, D.C. now confirming that all 67 victims of the American Airlines plane and helicopter crash have been recovered. At this time, the remains of 66 victims have been positively identified. The recovery of the victims marks a significant step forward in bringing closure to the families and the community. Officials say the crew will remain focused on clearing the remaining wreckage from the Potomac River as they search for major components of that jet, and tomorrow, operations will shift to recovering wreckage from that Black Hawk helicopter. Mesa Gateway Airport held an emergency exercise. It is standard for all U.S. airports. So these types of exercises are mandated by the FAA. They happen every 3 years. The exercise involving airport airline and local public safety organizations to prepare for an incident that may happen at the airport.
So we've got volunteers that are simulating passengers of an airliner. We've got a burn unit. Basically, it's essentially going to act like an airplane that's on fire. So our first responders will come in, they'll address the airplane fire, and then they'll start focusing on the passengers. And we're really just testing out to make sure that we're ready in the unlikely event of a large disaster.
Yeah, the fire units there, the trucks involved have to be able to go so fast because they have to get basically anywhere on the runway. There's one of the trucks right there after a certain amount of time to get water on that plane. So it's a very interesting operation. Planning began 6 months ago for this exercise. Taram.
Well, planning a trip for yourself or your family can already be stressful enough. But when you're organizing for a big group like family reunions, birthdays, weddings, or girls' getaways, it can quickly turn chaotic. So where do you begin? Travel agent Megan Curdy with Dream Vacations is here to help. I gotta tell you, several of my colleagues are planning a big group like cruise vacation. I'm a little jealous, so hence the segment. Okay, so first up, you've got some great tips, starting with you want to plan 6 to 12 months in advance, which would be pretty much now if you're planning for something in the summer, right?
Yeah, it's really important because you want to not only secure space for everyone who's going, but also getting the best price.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing, right? As well as making sure everybody's still on board.
Exactly.
Got to get everybody in on the plans.
Yes, and not just one person can be the leader, right? You kind of need a little bit more muscle and
Yes,
support.
divide and conquer. I
Yes.
always encourage 2 people to be the point person, help to delegate tasks, and make sure that everything's getting taken care of for your group.
You also say budget for all because there can be, I mean, the age range could be from the little kids to the seniors, mom and dad.
Yeah, so you need to take into account people that might be on fixed income that might be coming. So ask the questions, and the people you're traveling with, they should be transparent. You know, what do they feel comfortable spending, and plan around those numbers.
What about accommodations?
The biggest thing is pick something that suits the whole group. You can do everything from vacation rentals like Airbnb and VRBO, or cruise lines or all-inclusives. Those are great because it kind of lets everybody have their own budget. You don't all need to stay in separate hotel rooms. This allows for everybody to come together. One thing that I really love is Bonvoy just launched some shared vacation rentals, so you can check them out on the Bonvoy app with Marriott and
Yeah.
get your points.
Oh,
so that's a
very
cool tip.
nice. Okay. You also say plan, but you still want to be a little flexible, right?
It's really easy to pack everything in when
I
you're
know,
with
I'm
your
a
family,
planner,
right?
yeah.
You want to do everything every day.
Right.
But make sure you do a survey. What does everybody kind of want to do? Do the best popular things and make time to hang by the pool.
Yeah, the relaxation.
Yeah, it's
'cause
really
Sometimes you're
important.
going, and then you need a vacation after your vacation.
Yeah, or my favorite, get family together and do some board games and take track who's going to win.
Yes,
Yes.
that's nice. Okay, you also say that communication is key. I mean, forget about like long emails, right?
No, I always encourage my groups to use WhatsApp.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite because it works no matter where you're at and no matter what kind of device, and short messages, text messages. Other people use Facebook Messenger, and then always do like a Google Doc that has an itinerary. And if you work with a travel agent, they usually provide an itinerary with an app so you can stay up to date as things change.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. You also say book restaurants and activities in advance. And
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, that can be, you know, well, when I've done all inclusive, I mean, sometimes if you don't book those reservations, you're out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going when you're going.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you get ahead of the game. Just like here, you know, we're getting lots of tourists right now, so we always have to make our own reservations. So remember that while you're traveling so you can all sit together and eat together.
Okay, and then think about transportation.
Yes, so booking flights and all of your to and from the airport can get a little overwhelming.
Right.
The earlier you book, you get a better discount. There's also group discounts that are available for you.
That's key, yeah.
That is key. And again, a travel agent can help you here.
Right.
There's a lot of tips and tricks that they can help in making sure that everything's taken care of, going back to that 6 to 12 month lead time.
You know, and I want to, you mentioned a travel agent.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't used a travel agent in eons. And we were talking before the show started that most of the time, travel agents, they don't take,
No.
it doesn't cost anything.
No,
right?
your the commission that we make is part of what you pay, no matter if you work with us or not.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, you don't pay any extra.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, let's talk about the top travel destinations for group travel.
Yes, so a couple aren't very surprising. The Caribbean is always on the top of the list.
It's always popular.
You know, you've got the Dominican Republic, you've got Aruba, you've got Mexico. Those are always really popular. But this year, Japan has made the list, and a lot of that's because of the great exchange rate we're seeing. And people have always had it on their bucket list,
Yeah.
especially if they're during cherry blossom season. It's beautiful there.
Which is when? When's cherry blossom?
Spring. So it's
Oh,
coming up really
nice.
quick.
Okay.
And then France and Spain have topped the list as well. I think a lot of this has to do with the foodie culture we've developed, right?
Yeah.
Food and
Food is-
wine, it's so great. And France has a really diverse culture as the Mediterranean.
Yep.
And I think the popularity from the Paris Olympics have kind of pushed on this one a little bit.
1000%, yeah.
And then for us in the West Coast, Alaska continues to be a
Bucket
major
list.
destination for groups,
Yeah.
families. It's a great place to take anyone who's 2 to 82. I love it, and I encourage people to get with their families and go on an adventure.
I was going to say some of my colleagues, that's where they're going for the
Yes.
group travel, the big family
And
reunions.
it's easy for us
Yeah.
from Phoenix to get there.
So beautiful. Okay, so where can people get more info?
Obviously, you can go to your preferred travel agent. You can check out the all-inclusives. A lot of them have group concierge that can help you out with that, with all your reservations, all of your things, depending on your group size. But of course, I always talk about aztraveldeals.com, where your viewers can find out some great stuff.
Wonderful, Megan. Always great tips. We appreciate you.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Troy.
All right, good stuff there.